guys, it's Unreal, and here we are, another Halloween games video. You know, normally I'd act in character, like, since I'm Barry Burton, but I was gonna do a Halloween games video last year, but I'm not sure if a lot of you guys know, but last year, my state had a giant snowstorm during the week of October and Halloween. So everything, including the power, went out for days. It was devastating, and I just couldn't put together a Halloween video like I've done the previous years. Which sucked, because I was planning one, but I canceled it because of that snowstorm. But despite the hurricane, as you can see, still got power and still in action. And, well, I guess we'll just, you know, go ahead and do the video this year. But I'll just go ahead and do the game I was going to cover last year until the snowstorm happened. This game, a lot of people know about it, but I honestly wanted to add it to Halloween games because it's probably the best example of, in a way, survival horror in the longest time. Something that fucking Resident Evil and Silent Hill are not doing anymore. And I'll just say that while this game didn't scare me, because scary games really don't faze me anymore, like I've mentioned in the past, this one is definitely probably a good contender for one of the scariest games of all time. And of course, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Let's roll the clip. Amnesia: The Dark Descent is a survival horror game made by Frictional Games back in 2011. If you don't know who these developers are, I don't blame you, but the only other series they're known for is the Penumbra series, which is sort of similar as they're both horror and survival horror based. The reason I picked this for a Halloween game this year is pretty obvious. It's honestly one of the scarier games I've played in the longest time. With series like Silent Hill and Resident Evil no longer trying to be survival horror in some aspects, this game is a breath of fresh air as a well-executed survival horror game. If you want a general plot of the game, you play as a guy named Daniel who, of course, as you couldn't guess by the title, lost his memory due to amnesia. And throughout the game, he's just trying to figure out who he really is, and you find more about his past as you proceed through the game. Now let me talk about the gameplay for a moment. In this game, you have to keep an eye on two things: your health and your sanity. If your sanity gets too low, the game will be almost uncontrollable and everything will be blurry. And of course, health is pretty self-explanatory, because you lose health, well, you die. Now, this really isn't much of an action game. Like I said, it's a survival horror game. But most of the time, you're going to be doing a lot of puzzle solving, whether it be environmental puzzles or just simply trying to figure out what to do next. And that's what adds to this game, honestly. Another thing that adds to this game is the lamp. If you stay in lit areas, you'll be able to keep your sanity at bay. If you're in the darkness too long, your sanity slowly drains, so you're going to want to have the lamp on you at all times. Problem is, it runs on fuel. You run out of fuel, no lamp, no light, no sanity. Now you may be thinking, well, that doesn't sound too bad, but there is one thing I forgot to mention about the gameplay. The monster. Throughout the game, or certain parts of the game, you're gonna have to avoid this creature. Mainly because A, simply looking at him drains your sanity and makes you go insane. And B, if he spots you, he will kill you. 2 hits from him on full health will kill you. That's how powerful he is. And just having a creature like that on your tail is kind of unsettling. Doesn't help that when he gets closer to you, some of the music that plays gets louder, and that really increases the tension in the game. Oh, and don't even think about fighting back, because there is no combat in this game. The best you can do is just run and hide. And now lastly, the atmosphere. It is done really well. The game itself just feels generally scary, not because of just the monster, but because of the setting and everything that goes on. Sure, there may be a few jump scares, but most of those are really just supernatural, as in objects moving or wind going, and that does end up affecting your sanity in the gameplay. But in general, it is scary just for what it is, and doesn't really rely on a bunch of jump scares like, I don't know, every fucking horror movie ever made recently. But honestly, that's the extent of what I have to say about this game without really spoiling anything. It is a great horror game, and I recommend it to anyone who wants a proper survival horror game. And thankfully, there is a sequel coming out soon. I don't know when, probably in 2013, but I can probably guarantee you when that comes out, along with this game, it'll be another perfect Halloween game. So there you have it, Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Definitely highly recommended. I mean, it's even getting a sequel with a slightly weirder name, A Machine of Pigs, I think. But don't let that detract you, because I have high hopes for it, because Amnesia was really good, and I'm pretty sure the follow-up will be really good, because these developers understand horror in games, and they did it well. I honestly not only recommend this as a Halloween game, I recommend this as a game anyone should play. I mean, if you don't want to play because of all the scare cam YouTube videos, I understand, because those are fucking terrible. But again, give the game the shot if you could run it, because it's definitely worth it. That's all I have for this year's Halloween games, and this is Unreal as Barry Burton, and wish everyone a happy Halloween, and I have nothing else to say but trick or treat, motherfuckers!